Good evening. Welcome to the Frankfort Area Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum for the general election for 2020, the election to take place on or before November 3rd, 2020. We're happy to be here. We're glad you're with us. Our sponsors, it's put on by the Area Chamber of Commerce, but we have co-sponsors including the Frankfort State Journal, the Frankfort Plant Board, Cap City Communications, and Together Frankfort are our sponsors that co-host us. We have two candidates vying to be your next jailer who are with us. The two candidates are Jake Bonta. Did I say that correct, Jake? Okay. And
Yes, sir,
Wes
you did.
Culbertson. That's okay, Wes Culbertson. We have a panel who will ask questions. We're preparing questions, preparing for our meeting tonight. The three of them are Kathy Lindsay from the Frankfort Plant Board, Steve Stewart from the Frankfort State Journal, and Kristen Cantrell from Cap City Communications. Everybody ready to go? Okay. We're going to start with our opening statements. You'll get 1 minute to make an opening statement to begin to make the case for why you should be the next jailer. And at the end of that minute, we'll watch Susie. Susie will give you warnings towards the end of that time. And if you run over, as David said, we unfortunately have to mute you. We don't want to have to do that. So if you would, if everybody will play fair and play by the rules, we'll get through this smoothly and you'll get a chance to make your case for why you should be elected the next jailer. So let's start with opening statements. Jake Bonta, you have 1 minute, sir.
Thank you all. First of all, thank the Chamber of Commerce and the State Journal and the Plant Board and the radio stations, all the sponsors for doing this and letting the people see and ask questions and have a choice. Thank you all very much for sponsoring this event. I'm Jake Bonta. I'm 45 years old. I'm from Frankfort, and I've lived here for most of my life other than a small stint in Shelby County where I met my wife. We moved back to Frankfort and raised our kids here, and we've been here ever since. I've got 19 years of law enforcement experience, almost 20, and I'd like to continue that and remain your Franklin County jailer. The gentleman running against me is a dear friend of mine, and I enjoy working with him each and every day. And it's just, I'm glad to see this general election doesn't have to be negative at all. We're friends before the election. We're friends during the election. We're going to be friends after the election. I just have a long resume. Thank you.
Thanks, Jake. Appreciate it. Wes, you have 1 minute for your opening statement.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wes Culbertson. I've been a lifelong resident here in Franklin County. I'm married to Shane Culbertson. We have a son named Wyatt Culbertson. I love what I do at the jail. I love everybody I work with up there. It's a big family. I just want to continue that work and continue to make sure that the jail is in the right hands moving forward to whoever gets that position up there and remains in that chair. I like what I do, and I just want to continue doing it.
Great, thank you. We're going to begin our questions from our panelists now. And what we'll do is we'll alternate which one gets the first question to be fair, so that one person's not always answering the question with benefit to the other who's listening. So we're going to start with Steve Stewart. Steve, would you ask your first question of Mr. Culbertson?
Sure. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate you spending some time with us tonight and speaking candidly to the voters. Jails have a high margin for error as it relates to litigation. In the past administration prior to Mr. Bonta, there were a number of lawsuits and a couple of high-profile incidents, allegations of sexual harassment by the chief deputy jailer that ended up costing taxpayers quite an amount of money to pay an outside law firm to investigate that. Another jail employee accused and criminally charged of having sex with an inmate while transporting her. Things seem to have gotten better there. But I want you to speak to the current culture at the jail and specifically how you will minimize the risk of litigation if elected.
That question to me?
Yes, Wes, that question was you.
Okay. We can't control what happens up there. The only thing we can do is act. And I think that was done very, very professionally when that arose. And it was immediately investigated once we found out what had actually happened. And I wouldn't stray too far from what was done. The investigation was key. It was found to push the jailer Rogers in the direction he went. I believe everything was done accordingly and handled well, and I wouldn't do much different.
Jake Bonta, you want to have a shot at that question?
Yeah, thank you for your question, Mr. Stewart. It's pretty much the same question we had during the primary, and my answer would be the same. You've got to let the investigation complete itself to make sure that your actions are proper, and then I would get with the county attorney, and we'd make a decision then on if charges need to be filed. And we're not going to tolerate any harassment at all, sexual or any other type at Franklin County Regional Jail, as long as I'm the jailer. The key to it is you're going to get sued because we're in a liability business, but training's the key, and our training's good, and it's even getting better. I have a plan for the next few months to make a few changes in the training where there'll be more training and staff that has a lot of years of experience coming.
I'm sorry, Jake. You keep watching Susie. We'll try to do the best we can, but you only get 45 seconds to answer each question and then 30 for a follow-up. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, let's go to Kathy. Kathy, do you want to ask your first question of Mr. Bonta, please?
Yeah, sure. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you, Miss Lindsay?
I'm good. In previous interviews, it has become apparent that a major issue facing the jail right now is the poor condition of the infrastructure of the jail itself. What are your plans to address the problems there to ensure a safe and secure environment for your staff and the inmates?
Thank you for your question. First of all, the jail is safe right now. It's just getting old. And Mr. Culbertson and I have been working with ESG, Energy Savings Group, and the physical court's going to have an opportunity to make some major repairs to the jail in the next several months to try to get 10 or 12, 15, 20 years longer out of this building. And it's going to be up to the physical court. But the plan is to fix some major things to get some more time out of the jail so we don't have to build a new jail and put that on the taxpayers' back.
Mr. Culbertson, what are your plans?
Well, I couldn't agree more with Jailer Bonta. We are working diligently up there to make sure that facility stays safe and secure for all the inmates and the staff. ESG is, I believe, a right move in forwarding the jail to be a little less costly on the taxpayers of Franklin County. And I mean, it's a jail. It's safe. That's all. I mean, we're secure up there.
Okay, thank you. I believe we're down to Kristen. Are you ready with a question? Mr. Culbertson would be the first one up.
Okay. Good evening, gentlemen. All right, Wes, how would you define integrity? And would you share a time when you showed integrity?
Integrity is always doing the right thing when no one's looking. That's a daily thing up there at the jail. We're always doing the right things, no matter whether we're in an area where there's no cameras. back to the first question, I've transported females all across the state at night for the jail, trying to get them out to save the taxpayers money of inmates that's not in our county. And I always got them there and back, and got back with nothing being said, nothing being done, because I always did the right thing.
Thank you. Mr. Bonta?
Jake?
The definition is absolutely dead on. It's doing the right thing all the time, no matter if anybody's watching. And I've spent 19 years of my career with integrity. All you have is your word and your integrity. And my career stands by that. My accomplishments stand by that. And we're going to continue to work with integrity and hard work up here and get better each and every day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Steve, are you ready with a question?
Yeah, I want to go back to the physical condition of the jail. At what point, and could it be during this upcoming term, that we as a community, in your opinion, need to begin having a serious conversation about biting the bullet, putting up the money to build a new jail? Are we at that point? Or do you think you all can continue to make this one work beyond the term you're running for?
Jake?
Mr. Stewart, that's a good question. And I believe ESG and the physical court and the group have made that decision. And with ESG, they've made the decision where we can make this one work for, I don't know if it's 10, I don't know if it's 20 years, but several more years. The jail still has good structure. It's just got some things that needs to be fixed. It's 30 plus years old and it lives a hard life. It's not a hotel. So I think if the ESG program goes through with the physical court, we should get 10, 15 years more out of this jail and not have to put as much money in it each and every year. Wes runs the maintenance crew up here, and he does a fantastic job with the little money that we give him. And I hope that continues.
Wes?
I couldn't agree. Sorry, I couldn't agree more. The next 10 to 15 years, the taxpayers of Franklin County, I believe, should be looking to put money back to be building a new jail. I'd say the next 10 to 15 years, if we can squeeze ESG in there to get everything updated like they're supposed to, and get it on board to keep moving, I think 10 to 15 years, the taxpayers is going to be looking to build a new one.
Wes, can I ask a quick follow-up, 30 seconds? Are there any
Sure.
alternatives to building a new jail? That
Well,
makes sense.
Do what?
Are there any alternatives to building a new jail?
I'd say the next 10 to 15 years is what we're going to get out of that building. We can keep adding into it and building on and upgrading, but the like you said, the structure's sound, but the inside of the jail, the piping, the plumbing, and all that's just it's failing.
Okay. But if we didn't build a jail, how would we handle the population? Would we contract with someone else? I'm going to come right back to
Franklin
you.
County, I believe, needs to keep their own jail. We don't need to outsource that. That would cost millions to send our inmates to other counties.
That's what I'm trying to find out. Jake, what's your thought on that? Thank you.
I agree. The other option is outsourcing it to other counties, and the cost on the taxpayers' back would be enormous. And also, find somebody that can take that many. Jails are overcrowded. Until COVID, there's some space now, and the state prisons and stuff are getting a little more space. But getting somebody to take 67 inmates is going to be a hard sell. So you would have to contract with several counties. Franklin County's always had a jail, and I think Franklin County will always have a jail, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. I think we're back to you, Kathy, and I think your question maybe goes to Wes first.
Okay, great. I think we can all agree that this pandemic has been difficult for most of us. So nationwide, the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated the systemic inequalities that lead to persons with mental illness being treated differently than other prison populations. What improvements do you suggest to effectively address the mental health of inmates?
That's a very good question. We still have our sources as far as our bluegrass comp care that we use. I wouldn't do much any more different than what we're doing now. Everything we're doing seems to work along with that. You know, if we have somebody that comes in that's mentally unstable, we got numbers that we can call. You know, there's KSP or sorry, my mind's gone blank, but Eastern State Hospital. You know, we'll get them there, and I don't think COVID has any difference on what we're doing now.
Okay.
Is it my turn?
Yes, sir.
We have a pretty good plan with the triage when they come in. The mental health is connected to withdrawal a lot of times, so it's even double. We have to find something in legislation and with the law enforcement for mental health people. It's different for them. They don't understand. And it's harder for us to deal with them because we're not social workers. So we need to work on a better plan than what we have. And I think we can do that in the next few years.
Okay, thank you. Kristen, I think it's your turn. Wild card, you just ask whichever one you want, whatever question you want, okay?
Okay, well, I'll start with Mr. Bonta. Provide an example when you were able to prevent a problem because you foresaw the reaction of another person.
Wow, that's on the point, and it is a wild card question. Thank you for your question. Narrowing one down would be hard. I've been in law enforcement for almost 20 years, and I've foreseen a lot of things and tried to stop it before it happened. I'll tell you what, the best way I can answer your question is I try to do the right thing every time. I feel like the glass is half full. This is a negative place to come into, whether you're an inmate or whether you're an officer, and you can make your day better and help one person a day will help everybody out. And if I can get this culture to believe that up here, it's going to be a better place. I hope that answers your question.
Sure. Mr. Culbertson?
Like Jailer Bonta said, that's a very good question. You know, I've always been able to talk people down, foreseeing the future of what's going to happen is very hard to do. I'm very big believer in using my words to talk myself out of a situation than use any type of force at any time. I've had several incidences at the jail where I've had to use that as a reference to get out of some situations and get people to do what I want them to do. Force doesn't always work. Sometimes just talking to people always helps with that situation.
Okay, thank you. We're down to our last question or two before closing statements. We're going to go back to you, Steve, and open floor. You ask whatever question you need to ask of whichever candidate.
Thanks, Dave. Jake, let's start with you. As you know, there's a national conversation about race ongoing in in America, and specifically about law enforcement's treatment of Black Americans. How do you ensure fair treatment of minority inmates, specifically Black inmates at the Franklin County Jail? And then Wes, when it gets to you, if elected, how will you ensure that?
And I'm first, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. 100% insurance is very expensive, but what we do is we train to be equal to everybody, color, sex, race, everybody. Firm, fair, and consistent is the way our policy goes. And, you know, I've been in this business for a long time, and I don't really see color. I mean, it's just, we don't judge when you come in. We do our job and do it as well as we can. And all lives matter, black, white, all of them matter. And we want to treat people equally all the time.
Wes?
Yeah, Jailer Bond, I couldn't have put that any better. I know this country is in a turmoil, and all this stuff really kind of aggravates me. I wish people could all just let it go. I don't see color. Like I said, I've said in an interview before, up there we all see orange, and that's what everybody wears as an inmate in the jail. Everybody's treated the same way when they come in as when they leave. I plan on just continuing to do the same thing. The training up there is key. Training is very key on that situation, and I don't think any of our deputies are that way. I think we've got a very good staff, and I'll continue to make sure that happens.
Okay, thank you.
Quick, if I could do a quick follow-up, Dave, with Wes. Wes, when you say the national mood situation aggravates you, do you think law enforcement has been unfairly criticized for its treatment of Black Americans? What be more specific about what's aggravating you?
Well, I know there's bad apples in every group. Yes, the way law enforcement's being treated right now, people don't know what it takes to put on that badge every day and get out and do their jobs that they do. It's very stressful emotionally, physically, mentally. And if there was better ways to weed out the bad, our law enforcement would get a much better respect. And I don't think it's a color thing with any law enforcement as well as all across the United States. It's about the situations and the quick reactions that we've got to respond to. We get split-second decisions to make choices to where an attorney or court systems get months to rip it apart.
Thanks.
Do you want Jake to have additional comments on that one?
Sure.
Steve?
Let's give Jake that opportunity if he wants the time.
Thank you.
And back in my last interview, I've stated we need to take a step back and listen. During this difficult time in the United States, I've had to self-reflect. I've learned the more you listen, the more you learn. And I think, I'm not picking a side. I think everybody has points, and to follow up with Wes's comment there, I'm not really frustrated because I've been 20 years with it, and it's been roller coaster ride. There's always something you have to overcome when you're in law enforcement, but there's nobody that doesn't like a bad cop more than a good cop. It's one bad apple makes the whole bunch look bad. So that's kind of how I feel about that situation. There's a lot of good cops in our community, really good cops in our community, and our Franklin County and Frankfort should be proud of that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we need to move to our closing statements. We began in order of alphabet, so we're going to do the closing statements in reverse alphabet, which means Wes Culbertson, you get the first opportunity to make a 1-minute closing statement and explain to the voters of Frankfort and Franklin County why you should be the next jailer.
I just want to thank everybody for your time. Thanks for all the questions. My name is Wes Culbertson. I am your Republican candidate for Franklin County Jailer. I love my job. I love what I do. I love everyone that I work with. It's not, I say job, I'm sorry, my career. It's not something that I dread getting up and going and doing every morning. And to serve the citizens of Franklin County is a wonderful thing to do. I've always wanted to be some type of public servant. And I guess doing the one job that nobody wants to do is where I landed, and that's what I'll continue to do until I retire.
Jake Bonta?
Again, thank you all for having us tonight. Thank you for the questions, and I hope we've answered them. I am your Franklin County Jailer. I am your Democratic nominee from the primary. I've enjoyed this process. It's been a very long and difficult process, but I've enjoyed it. I enjoy coming to work every day and making this place better each and every day. But it's not me, it's my team and my staff, and Wes is part of that. And me and Wes are friends, and we were friends prior. We're friends now, and we're going to be friends after. Politics does not have to be mean and angry, and I think we have proved that. And I applaud you, Wes, for that. I do ask for your vote. I do want to remain your jailer, and on November 3rd, I'd appreciate if you go out there and vote for me. Thank you all very much, and please be safe.
Thank you. I want to thank our two candidates for jailer, Jake Bonta and Wes Culbertson, for taking the time to be with us. Want to thank our excellent panelists. We've got Kathy Lindsley and Steve Stewart and Kristen Cantrell, who have done hard work putting together good questions and to challenge our candidates. I want to thank the Frankfort Area Chamber of Commerce. Would also like to thank Susie Hosley, who helped coordinate the entire event, has been our timekeeper throughout the event. David Columbia and the Frankfort Plant Board, who's also participated, as well as our sponsors, in addition to the Chamber, State Journal, Plant Board, Cap City Communications, and Together Frankfort. Again, I'm Dave Weller signing off. Thank you. Look forward to us getting together. The next time, hopefully, we'll be able to do this in person. But in the meantime, remember, you need to vote on or before November 3rd. Have a nice evening. Good night.